Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Betty Eats podcast. I am so glad that you're here, and I am so excited to be talking to today's guest. We have Anna Vocino on with us, and Anna has so many stories to tell. So I'm excited. We met actually online through the Substack platform and got to know each other a little bit. And now here she is on my podcast. So
yay!
Welcome, Anna. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I would love for you to just kind of tell everybody, high-level view before we get into details, all the things that you do. You have such an interesting life, and I don't want to miss anything. So
thank you. It's interesting. That's I'm in California. I grew up on the East Coast, but I moved to California 25 years ago, and I've been working in entertainment. My background is as a voice actor and a comic. So I always say I have this super cool day job that's allowed me to write recipes. And I was diagnosed with celiac, and the only way to take care of celiac is to not have gluten. So I went gluten-free back in 2002 when nobody had even heard of gluten. Nobody knew what that was, myself included. Yeah. But all the food tasted not great when I was diagnosed. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to figure out how to make some things. And then I kind of slowly put on weight and got pre-diabetic, and then changed my focus to be low carb 10 years later in 2012. And that my focus is now all low carb. And first cookbook came out in 2016, cut to today. The fourth cookbook's coming out in a few months, and started a line of products. And again, I'm able to jump in the booth and do my voiceover work. So I am able to grow this company. I have pasta sauces, I have spices, and I have cheese bites, all based on my recipes from my books. And that's not an easy feat to want to turn your recipes into products that get sold in grocery stores. But yeah, I found on grocery store shelves a real dearth of better for you, clean formulas. And so I kind of want to be a part of that change. So yeah, so that brings us current. It's a busy life that I've chosen, but I love it. And I love food, and I love doing the funny voices. So I still do both of those.
Well, I want to talk about funny voices in a minute, but going to your talking about getting diagnosed in 2002, you're absolutely right. My daughter was born in 2000, and she actually had a gluten intolerance as a toddler. Like she could not do any dairy, could not do any gluten. She was having reactions and different things. And, we finally narrowed it down. Like even the doctors were like, we don't know what this is. Finally narrowed it down. So
that's good that they figured it out.
Yeah. And what is so interesting is at the time, like you could not buy gluten-free bread anywhere. So except for Trader Joe's, there was this little teeny tiny loaf that was about the size of, my phone.
It was a brick.
Right now.
It was a brick.
It was a brick
of gluten-free bread.
Almond flour, maybe it was. Probably, it was the only thing she could eat. So,
but they used a lot of soy flour back then too, which soy flour will rip you up if you have. And I remember trying different breads and being like, I can't have that one.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
What's interesting is she eventually grew out of this. So once she was in elementary school, she could eat these things. But even today, even though she can eat them, she's not a big fan of them, dairy or gluten. And so she just feels better off of it. But yeah, that was such a different time, I think, in grocery store land.
It was. It was. I remember going shortly after I was diagnosed. I went to the Whole Foods, I think it must have been in Pasadena, and I went in and I looked on the end cap, and there was like a gluten-free end cap at the time that had some Pamela's, like pecan sandies, again, stuff made with almond flour and rice flour, and then this bag of chocolate chip cookies in a pouch. And I remember buying it. It was $17. Okay. It was 17. And that was like 2002, dollars. Wow. Like that was a lot of money back then. And I remember tasting it and being like so grossed out. I like threw it across the room and had a temper tantrum about it. And I was like, I need to figure out how to make stuff. And gluten-free baking is this whole thing. And I'm half Southern and I'm half Italian, and those are all my comfort foods, contain gluten, so I'm going to have to figure this out.
Especially, like you said, being Italian, like pasta is a big part of not just
Pasta,
meals,
breading.
but life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, if you walk into my husband's family's house in Pittsburgh, he's also from an Italian family. If you walk in, you have the regular bread, you have the Mancini's bread, you get a chicken cutlet, which is, flour, and then a side of pasta, and then also the Mother of Sorrows pizza. So you have like 7 different kinds of gluten/carbs. And it all had better be on your plate, or else someone's going to lose their mind, like that you're not eating or you're not enjoying it, or you know what I mean? Like that whole thing.
Right.
Which every culture has their version of that, you know? So it's,
yeah.
it's something.
Now, so because you have celiac, you are not then one of those people that can like go to Italy and eat everything. Because I have friends who have a gluten like intolerance here in America, but then they go to Italy. Like I have a friend, she goes to Italy and she can eat the bread, she can eat the pasta, she has no problem. But then she comes back here and she can't eat any of it. But is that the case with you or no?
I have celiac, and celiacs medically are told to not do it. So I don't.
Okay.
I do know some celiacs who will, and your body, your choice. The thing is with celiac disease is that it's a cumulative effect sort of thing. So it's not an anaphylactic response, right? Mm-hmm. So I will say I will have an anaphylactic response to macadamia nuts. That's a nut that I'm allergic to. I can eat all other nuts, but that nut will try to kill me from the inside out in a split second. So that's a different, and some people have anaphylactic responses to gluten. So everybody's different, right? But a celiac, what happens is you eat gluten, and for whatever reason, it infuriates the immune system, and then the immune system goes and attacks the villi in the small intestine. And if we remember 7th grade biology class, the villi are the things that absorb the nutrients once it's gone through the stomach, and it goes through the duodenum, and then it goes in the small intestine, right? And if it attacks those villi, it flattens them, and then you don't digest nutrients. So literally food just runs through you. So when I was diagnosed at the age of 28, I had osteopenia. I was severely anemic. I hadn't digested nutrients, right?
Wow.
So it was a healing process to then clean up the diet and then be retested. They have to do endoscopies. Unfortunately, is really the only way to tell. They can do blood tests to see if you have the what's it called? The immune system response. But ultimately they want to do an endoscopy to take a little biopsy of your small intestine to see if there's any flattening. So that's the only science portion of this podcast, guys. Stick with us.
There'll be a quiz
that's
later.
Literally the only science that I know, and we're done. That's it.
Yeah, no, what a journey though that must have been, especially as a 28-year-old going, okay, I have what and I have to do what, and
I was so mad.
I was going to say that's kind of like a adulting moment that nobody wants to do. Yeah.
When you are diagnosed with something like that, and I know this because now people write me, I'm the recipient of ire, and I understand because it's like the doctor just said I can't have dairy, and I looked, and the one recipe of yours that I really want to make has dairy, and how dare you? I know you're triggered because that was me. But you're going to be okay, and go make this thing instead, and you're going to be okay, and we're going to figure this out, and you will figure out what to eat. But it is always like you have to grieve the process because we love food, and you don't want to be told that you can't have something, but medically I can't have that thing. So
right. Yeah, but that probably makes you, I think, too, just very like a good person for somebody to approach about that and to get mad at. I mean, because you get it, you understand it, you've been there, and so that's
for sure. And in recipe writing, I always have a soft spot for my fellow moms who are like, "Hey, excuse me, I saw you had this low carb pizza crust recipe, but my kid can't tolerate nuts. Can you figure out? Is there another one?" And
Yeah.
That always gets me. If you tell me your kid has a food allergy, and I'll figure out what the recipe workaround is and write a whole new recipe for you. So that's definitely a lot of my recipes are born out of that. And I always joke that it's like, hey, can you figure out how to make the KFC double down sandwich, but like with cauliflower? I was like, okay, like what?
So funny. But that does give you a heart. Like I even feel that too sometimes, having had to live through that with one of my kids. You really do understand people a little bit better versus like if I never had to experience it, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know, figure it out. Versus, oh my gosh, let me help you, and I'm happy to work through this with you. And so definitely a different perspective, I should say. So. Now, did you grow up being from an Italian family and a Southern family? Did you grow up cooking and learning from your mom or your grandma?
No, a little. My mom was a single mom, and she did the best she could. But I feel like I always say Julia Child was my teacher because I was allowed to watch PBS as a kid. I know, and it was not Julia Roberts. My God, Julia Child, not Julia. I definitely did not learn how to cook from one Miss Julia Roberts. Okay. That's just menopause brain. Y'all,
I knew what you meant.
Okay, thank you. Julia Child and the Frugal Gourmet. So, but when Miss Julia Child would come on, I know, and he's since been canceled for like being a terrible, he did something terrible. But at the time he was like, oh, it's the Frugal Gourmet, and he was a Methodist minister, and my mom was a Methodist minister, so I thought that was cool. But I was only allowed to watch PBS, and I would sneak the other channels when she wasn't home because she was a single mom. She was working all the time. But we didn't have Food Network back then, so that was it. And watching her cook and being like, ooh, what can I have? And having a very limited set of food in the fridge because we didn't have a lot of money. So I literally was starving for food content, and you know what I mean?
Wow.
Money was tight, and she did the best that she could. And I was always drawn to food content, to working in food. I remember getting one issue of I think it was Bon Appetit. And I found this recipe, and my stepmother said that we could buy the ingredients for it. It was basically using tin foil to drizzle chocolate over to create like a bird's nest basket. And then you put the little chocolate mousse in it. And I just was like, this is insane that she let me spend all that money on chocolate, and we made it. It was delicious, and never to have made it again. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I know. And that was like a really special thing to be able to take a recipe and then just kind of became obsessed with it ever since. And working for catering companies, I always say, you want to learn food, work for a catering company or a restaurant where you have to chop a million things, and you'll learn really quickly.
Yep. Very true.
How to make food. But I didn't go to culinary school, so I'm all uncertified, self-taught home cook. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But so that was just born in you in terms of watching these shows on TV. I totally remember watching Julia Child too, and I will every once in a while go back and watch that. She's got some old episodes on, I want to say it's on Amazon Prime, and they are so different obviously from Food Network shows today, but she really was teaching people how to cook, because I look at what she's doing, and she's talking about what to look for and hallmark signs of when something is done, and I'm like, she's actually teaching people how to cook. So that's amazing though. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. Okay, so you watched Julie Child and Frugal Gourmet, and you're in school, and then how did you sort of find your way into voice acting? How did that all happen?
Yeah, that I always wanted to do. I worked on cameras, and I worked on stage. I started an improv, and I was in Atlanta, and we started an improv theater company in '94 that's still there, called Whole World Theater. And and at the time, being on stage in a place, Atlanta is still very arts friendly, and especially performing arts friendly. And got my first agent And my first agent then said, when my husband and I moved across the country to move to LA with a 2-year-old, which by the way, don't drive across the country with a 2-year-old in August. That's what I learned from that adventure. But we moved to LA to be actors, and I had my first Atlanta agent call me and say, hey, if you will go to Guitar Center and get a mic, I can send you auditions. And I was like, what? That's crazy. Like back then we didn't have like podcasting, and we didn't plug in our mics and to the USB port. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I remember having to go like, I've got to find an interface and put the XLR cord and figure out what it was. And luckily I was at the forefront of being able to work from home. So
wow. Amazing.
While I think it's really good to be I needed to be in LA to be able to do the animated stuff and video game stuff that I did. There's also a part of me that was ready when COVID happened and we had to work from home. I was like, oh, I got it. I've already been working from home from my home studio. So
amazing.
I just studied. I went and studied with this woman who was the best. I made my demo. I walked around to all the agencies and dropped off CDs of my demo. And an agent called me, and he really worked with me. And I feel very lucky that everything, I just started working.
That's incredible. And I know you were just at the premiere for Toy Story 5.
I know, that was crazy.
You were Mrs. Potato Head, right? Is that
Mrs. Potato Head?
Amazing.
I know. It's nuts. I don't know. It's just one of those life things. You're like, well, I guess I did everything. And I always would put on my goal list every year, voice a role in a Pixar movie. And then you're like, man, that's stupid. You're never going to get that. Like, how do you get Pixar? Are. And listen, Hollywood, where it only takes 25 short years to realize your dreams. Just be patient. No, actually, what's so funny, this past summer and then a few months ago, my husband wrote a movie 20 years ago, and it finally got made. He sold it 10 years ago, so it's out of his hands at that point, but it finally got made. So he got to go on set and help pitch jokes and stuff. And then the premiere was a couple months ago. And so we were like, this is so funny. It's like our spring and summer of premieres, because with long time goals, but you just never know. You don't know how life's going to go. That's what I want to tell the young people. You don't know. Just have a good time, because you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, that's something, that I mention to my kids a lot, is that nothing is ever wasted. Like, you think about like, what am I learning from this job, or what's this experience going to be? But you just never know. It all adds up and connects. And
exactly. You don't see the connective tissue till you're our age, and you can look back and go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
If this had happened before that, I would have been ready, or I would have missed this piece to the little self-realization puzzle. But yeah.
So you're working as a voice actor, and then how did you get started then with your Eat Happy Kitchen? How did that come about?
Well, the company, so I published my first book in 2016. And I actually had an experience before the book came out that I got to speak with this really well-known, well-respected lit agent. And which, by the way, if you're in book world, that's what I'm talking about, that kind of a lit agent. If you're in Hollywood, I'm not talking about a film and television lit agent. I'm talking about a book agent. Okay. So I spoke with this woman, and she basically was like, nobody's ever heard of you. You're not going to, why are you coming out with a book? She said, you should align with Curtis Stone. And I was like, what? Like, but why? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. And but basically what she was saying is like, you should help ghostwrite somebody's book who's more famous so that you'll actually sell some copies. That's what she was saying. And I understood why she was saying that. It was harsh that she said it, but I understood why she was saying it. So it's like one of those things when people give you negative feedback, you have to either you have to take in as much as like the learning portion of the feedback is, but not let it be so harsh that it stops you. So I go, okay, what can I take from this? Well, I have to prove myself. I'm not already a proven commodity. So I just made sure that I tested the recipes like a mofo, and just I don't publish duds. Like there's nothing in any of my books that would be a dud. Because one of the things I learned, and I'm sure you know this, when you go along and you try to follow someone else's recipe and you're like, this isn't working out. And it's kind of conventional wisdom in the recipe world that you can blame the end user very easily and not take responsibility for publishing a crappy recipe.
True.
You can take a gorgeous, you can style a photo, you can, and make it look like it's a thing. And then people are like, why doesn't mine look like that? And then you go, well, I don't know, you dumb. It just didn't, And it's not, I don't like that. I don't like that. I think it's insulting to the person who's trying to get something out of your content. So I always took that very, very seriously. And the book wound up doing really well. And I think it resonated with a lot of people. There's certain things in there that are so simple. It's almost embarrassing. I'm like, oh God, that's so dumb. But people are quitting sugar. They're quitting processed foods. They need a little bit more hand holding. And then there's some things that are more complicated, and that would be save that for your Sunday dinner, or slow cooker stuff and things like that. So then I was like, well, I'll do another book. And then I did another book, and Amazon completely messed up my launch. And when I say they messed up my launch, I had pre-sold enough to make it on a number of bestseller lists, but it didn't matter because Amazon decided to cancel about half of the pre-orders.
Oh my gosh.
And I was,
what a nightmare.
After they had already ordered the books, then the books sat on their loading docks for 3 months and they wouldn't ship them out. And I was dying inside and half my hair fell out of my head from stress.
Oh my gosh.
And then I read that they screwed up the same month. They screwed up Margaret Atwood's latest book, whatever book was coming out of hers in 2019, they screwed up her launch. So I was like, oh, well, if they can mess with her, they can mess with anybody. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, noted. I learned from this experience. It made me tough. It made me realize like you can't live and die by what some giant corporation is doing. But I will tell you, I was like praying. I was like praying to the gods of the dock workers that somebody would come off their smoke break and want to unpack this pallet of books and let's get them fulfilled. And you know what I mean? I was like, please. I was throwing the I Ching. I was like, baby Buddha, like whatever God I needed to pray to make this happen. And the book finally came out, and that's good. But I swore, I was like, I'll never do this again until 2024 when I came out with my third book. But I worked with a traditional publisher, so I have a lot of experience with self-publishing and a lot of experience with working with a traditional publisher, which the fourth one will also be traditionally published.
Yeah. So you've done both, because I know a lot of times people will go one route or the other, but you have experience with both, and I'm sure you probably see pros and cons to both.
There are pros and cons to both. And I get asked that all the time by my fellow lovely writers. And I don't think there's any one particular, this is 100% the way to go. It all depends. What's the platform that you've built? What's your comfortability of, supervising and editing everything? Because I'm a micromanager, but I didn't love doing it, but you have to, because you obviously don't want to publish a cookbook with errors in it. It's and then I know a lot of people are doing a hybrid thing. And I know a lot of like romantasy authors that publish independent, and they make so much money. Why would they go traditional? So it all depends. It all depends.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a gal who she does the ebook route. And I want to say she does KDP, the Amazon ebook, and
the membership thing.
Yeah, and
Kindle Unlimited. Is that it?
Yes. I think that's it. She's done very well, and she's got a ton of books, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. Yeah, she makes very good money from it. I'm like,
are they cookbooks or is she doing fiction books?
No, they're more, there's some self-help in their series. So they're not cookbooks.
Great.
No, I don't think they have photos in them. So, a little bit different, but it works for her,
I mean, I tell people, and I'm the same way, because I'll be like, oh, you know what? I should make my blah, blah, blah this week. And I'll turn the camera on and do a little live stream, and I'll be at the grocery store, and I will literally look up my own recipe on the Kindle app in my book. So I find it's good for that kind of a thing. We're like, oh, I want to make this thing, lemon, and you just search it. You're like, oh, it's the lemon chicken, whatever. But really, we like cookbooks still to be old school, to be physical copies that we can open and read and have the food experience.
100%. And your newest cookbook is called,
Yes.
what is that one about?
Well, funny you should ask, Betty. It's so funny. It's called Eat Happy Cocktail Hour. And my publisher sent me this, and I'm so like, I always say I'm a HIPAA violation on myself because I will talk publicly about anything because I feel like if it helps people, but I'm like, it's a dummy book. It's not printed yet. It won't be printed for another month. I won't get the printed copy. So
you see the cover and it's gorgeous.
But look at that. Hey, you don't know what that is, do you? Because the inside is like weird. It's like that cheap newspaper paper.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a dummy book. But the cover looks great. There's me holding a little martini on the back.
Beautiful.
Makeup. Yeah,
so
we love it.
With makeup.
We love it. But it's a party book. We all need a little bit of levity and partying.
I know.
In this day and age of these there's wars and mortgages and that's enough. We need to have a party.
Yeah.
Taxes and ice and all these horrible things happening. So we need a little bit of lightness.
Levity for sure. Now, so you have these two areas of your life. Like actually you also still do stand up, don't you?
I do. In fact, as soon as we hang up, I'm driving to LA to do a show tonight. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So how do you balance everything though? Is that just kind of an ongoing tricky thing, or you have a schedule?
I do. I try to schedule everything out. I try to be as productive as possible during the day without completely burning out. If you're an entrepreneur, just like if you're a Substack food writer, you never run out of things to do. Like there's always a to-do list. I like to, I have to schedule exercise. That's a non-negotiable. Have to do that. And that's also part of my sanity. But I think just as getting older, watching folks age without any sort of fitness regimen, it's scary. I don't want to be that lady who falls and breaks a bone where that could have been prevented, especially considering my background with osteopenia at the age of 28. So I just want to, be aware of that stuff. But no, we do a lot of scheduling, and I am in a place of privilege because my daughter is grown and I don't have small kids at home, that's a different thing, and that's a different phase of life. So I'm in the phase of life where I get to be selfish.
I was going to say a lot of your time is your own and you can dictate it rather than like, oh, I got to drive somebody to soccer practice and, homecoming committee or what, or whatever. So,
and I only had one. I'm always like, I'm watching my friends now with 2-3 kids doing it. I was like, it's okay. Do it. Do the things. You'll return a lot of emails from the car, just sitting and waiting for them to do their fun thing.
Yes, that's so true though. No, that's so true. Yeah. That's when I used to sneak in my exercise because all my kids played soccer. And so they'd be at the field and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to walk. I would just walk. Be like, oh, there's your mom.
Great.
It's like,
hi, I gotta get my, hi guys.
Got to get my steps in. And
that's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But you find those little margins of time to be productive and do the things that you need to get done for sure. So, yeah. Wow. Well,
and delegate when you can.
Yes,
when you're able to. I delegate when I can.
Yeah, that's just
I'm not a good delegator, but I try to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've done so many things. Is there something that you look back? Well, you still have so much ahead, but like, is there something that you look back and go, that is my proudest moment, or I'm so glad I did that? You have something like that stands out?
Gosh, that's a really good question. My proudest moment. I don't know. I feel like I'm a reluctant creator. And what I mean by that is I'm reluctant to say yes or to bank on anything. I feel like coming from entertainment, you develop a thicker skin with like, even when something does work out, sometimes it doesn't work out. So you're like, I'm not even like, for example, the Toy Story thing. I mean, that was like a lifelong dream and I still was in disbelief. We recorded it over a year ago. Wow. And maybe like 14 months ago. And I just was like, I'm not going to believe this until they announce it as a matter of self-preservation. So I don't know. I'm not one to really like kind of rest rest. I'm not one to rest. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
probably could stand to do a little bit of self-reflection.
No, it's
I don't
good.
have
I
time.
think,
There's no time.
yeah, right. You're busy. But it sounds like you're always looking ahead though too. You're always kind of like, ooh, what am I doing next? And
Well, I have more things
so,
I want to get done. That's the thing. There's a
mm,
lot. I want to put out a mayo, and I want to film a cooking show, and I want to there's so many more things to
wow.
do. And I will say, as far as scheduling, if you want to do something really important, you have to schedule that time,
Hmm.
because we generally focus on getting all the urgent things. And then when you have a business too, in addition to the blog and the writing and
Yeah.
jumping at, I'm pointing to my booth that's right behind me. But when you're doing all this stuff, it's like for everybody else. So if you want to do something important, generally you do have to schedule it. Like, okay, I've got to map out what this cookbook's going to be, or I have to map out what this cooking show is going to be. And you got to really
Yeah.
kind of like drill down and give it some deep. Even writing new jokes, writing to my husband and I are writing. We do a dual act about marriage and or
Wow.
long-term relationship. You don't have to be married, but long-term relationships. So
Yeah.
right now we're like in a period of we're writing new jokes, and that takes us scheduling an hour every single day and sitting down together and writing stuff. And luckily he's a joke machine. He is an Emmy-winning comedy writer, so that helps. But it's still
Wow.
like a very like, okay, you write so much stuff and then you've got to cull it down to like what's actually working. Let's go try that on stage. Well, then we'll really find out what's working, what's not working. And then you kind of sculpt it together from that.
Mm,
But
yeah.
it takes some focus for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, and it sounds like too that it's my husband used to always say this to the kids, like when they were in the middle of like a big study season, or having to take a test or whatever, study for SATs or something, and he's like, you have to treat it like a jealous girlfriend. You got to spend time with
Yeah.
it, and I
Yeah.
think that it sounds a little bit like what you're saying of like some things you just have to throw the time at, and like you said, drill down, and there's just no getting around it. And it kind of sounds like that too, even with something like joke writing, that it does take that focus and that time, and a lot
Yeah.
of things,
I feel
recipes,
like
like all of
I
that.
feel like online, especially with AI, we're sold this bill of goods that everything is supposed to be delegated and done while we sleep and passive income and
Easy.
get
Yeah.
AI to do it. That's just not been my experience. That the creative well takes focus, and eventually you create that IP that hopefully then can go out and do that. But even like I always say, like, well, you've been married a long time. Is your marriage active or is it passive? And you don't have a passive marriage.
Hmm.
You raise
Right.
kids. You don't do passive parenting. Like you don't
Right.
do passive weight loss or fitness. Like it's always having to be. So this concept of like things just kind of, oh, it all works out in the background. That's not been my experience. If it has
Yeah.
for you, God bless.
Yeah.
Please share your secrets, because
Yeah. No, I think that that's true, and that just seems to be, I think, also a little bit of reality check. I mean, even in the food world, I see that sometimes where I've gotten a little jaded, a little tired of everything being like 30 minutes or less. And I get it because hey, I have been in that season of life of like, this has got to be fast dinner. But then you make something like a pasta sauce, or you make something that takes, a couple of hours, a good roast. It's like certain things are just, you have to put the time into it. There's no getting
100%.
around it. No
Yep.
getting around it. So,
Especially a good roast. Oh,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
do you find that you republish, like, I don't mean republish. I just mean like I have published like 6 different pot roast recipes, and they're all
Oh,
different, but they're
yeah.
still pot roasts. And because I just
Yeah.
love a pot roast, I'm always like,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
try this with it. Like
Yeah.
you
A
can tell
little
like what you really
different.
like. You're like, you just keep doing the same version of that thing. You're like, all right, time to diversify.
How many different kinds of tacos can I make?
Oh, you
I
know what? I was
mean,
on a podcast and the guy said, if you could eat anything for a year, what would it be? And I was like, well, obviously tacos, because you have different meat fillings for tacos. And I
yep.
only eat the meat out of it anyway. I don't eat the shells. So there you go. Like, haha, I just gamed your question.
Yeah, right? I know. I kind of feel that way with salads too. Like, I mean, I live in Southern California too, so you know, it's like
Salads.
salad. Like you can put anything on a salad, and it's
Make all your
fantastic.
dreams come true on a
Yeah.
salad. I mean, they call it a bowl now, but it's a
Yes.
salad.
Yes.
You're
True.
having a
Yeah.
salad.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, we came up in the 80s. We invented the salad, okay?
I miss the 80s. I mean, I like it now, but I also miss the 80s.
I mean,
Yeah.
certain things, yes.
Certain
Maybe shoulder
things.
pads, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, shoulder pads. I know,
Shoulder
it's
pads.
funny. This is actually a sleeveless, but
It's cute. I like
noticed-
your top.
It's Amazon. But I noticed the other day I was on screen and I was like, it looks like I'm wearing shoulder pads and I'm not. But this is not a bad thing.
Let him think it. Let him
Yeah.
think it.
That's right. Yeah. Well, something new that you are doing, and actually I'm excited to be a part of it too, is something called the Cook
Yes.
Stack Collective. Let's talk a little bit about that because I'm super
Isn't this
excited
the
about
coolest thing? Is Rebecca Blackwell
really
not the
is.
smartest little gal?
it. Yes. Yes. Force of nature.
Our fearless Cook Stack Collective leader. Yeah, Cook Stack
Yeah.
Collective. 12 of us have gotten together, and we're each going to teach a cooking class. We each chose a month that we're teaching a monthly cooking class.
Yeah.
And so you get a little taste of everybody's culinary perspective, which is incredible.
Yeah.
You get a
Yeah.
cooking class, which at least if you're a premium member on mine, I charge $5 a month. I don't know what everybody else charges, but
That's what I
that's
charge.
like,
Yeah.
what a bargain.
I agree. That alone is worth the price of becoming a paid subscriber because I think the great thing about these cooking classes is that they are live. You get to interact with all these different, foodies across just so many different specialties and niches. And it's kind of in this intimate setting because you're on Zoom. You can ask a question. You can, chat. You can chat with Anna. Oh my gosh, you can chat with Rebecca. So I think that
And Betty.
and me. But what's exciting about that too is like sometimes people just don't have that immediate face-to-face access or wanting to ask a follow-up question, and so I think that alone is worth the price of admission. I love
Totally.
that idea. Yeah,
It's super fun.
excited.
When is which month are you doing?
I am doing
Did you and I
August.
switch? You're doing August. That's right.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
I'm doing
August.
September. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
making in August?
I am going to make two kinds of kimchi. So,
That's right. Yes, I can't wait for that.
Yes. My mom is Korean, and so I grew up eating kimchi. And so I'm actually going to do two different kinds. One of them is a cucumber kimchi, and it's actually more of a quick pickle because you can eat it right away. And then the other one is the real deal. You're going to pack that in a jar, set it on your counter, and let it ferment and get bubbly. And that's going to be a cabbage kimchi. So I'm excited
Delicious.
to share people.
I'm excited
And
to
what are
take
you
that
doing?
class because I've never made kimchi and I've always wanted to because I'm obsessed with it. And
yeah.
most of the store-bought kimchis have all kind of junk in them. So
They
I would
do.
imagine making the
Yeah.
homemade stuff is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do Substack trade at some point and figure that out.
I would love to do
I'm
that.
going to do a few recipes for my new book. I'll probably do, because everything I do is low carb and no sugar, right?
Yeah,
So
that's great.
I was thinking of doing my low carb pigs in a blanket. Hi.
Oh.
So cute. And then a couple of cocktails and kind of show people a little bit of mixology about how we can make a nice cocktail without all the sugar because yes,
Yeah.
you don't want to overconsume alcohol, but if you have sugary drinks, it really will make you feel hungover the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to do some cocktails and then I'll probably do a dip, like a dill pickle ranch dip or something like that. Just do a little party menu, right? That'll be fun.
That sounds like a party right there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And then we can all make our cocktails and toast and drink it. And then, I don't know, I'll probably get loose lipped because I will have had a drink on the air and it'll be, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
Stay tuned, subscribers. You'll find out.
Stay tuned to the Cook Stack Collective. Yeah, we're excited about that. That was going to be fun.
Yeah. Very excited about that. Yeah, and I love any type of collaboration like that with other foodies. I just love the energy that they bring and just the expertise. Like, it's amazing. Like, okay, so you and I did not go to culinary school. I get it, but you and I have also cooked for a family for 2 decades or more. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying there is
Yeah.
something to that. Like you learn on the job and there's things that work and don't work and you know it. And I respect the people that have gone to culinary school because that is a whole other ordeal. But I think there's value, in what we have done. There's also value in what they've done. And so I love to hear just the broad spectrum of that. So looking forward to
I'm
it
so
for
excited.
sure.
Yeah, some of the creators are like super powerhouses, and it's really
Yeah.
cool to have access to that. And the thing that I like about the food community is that we're all in like a rising tide raises all boats sort of
Yeah.
attitude.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's enough interest for things to go around for us to share and cross pollinate our audiences. And I know that like even you knowing
Yeah.
that you're making kimchi, I'm like, oh my God, but my audience would love that. And
Oh, yeah.
and
No, I
I
mean,
always
it's so
say
true.
too, oh, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that a lot of people live in households divided. And what I
Mm,
mean by that is like this one is a vegetarian and that one doesn't eat
yeah.
gluten, and then this one eats everything, and this one, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
we're constantly having to figure out different, or the grandkids are coming over, and even though I'm not eating cookies, I want to figure out how to make a cookie for the grandkids coming over, and it's just it's good to get these learning lessons, get the recipes, and then you can make it yourself too in your own time.
Right. Yeah. And I think that is such a good point too, because, like even in my own house, like, my husband doesn't do dairy because it's not his friend anymore. He turned 45 and it was like, yeah, you can't do us anymore. So, for whatever reason, can't do dairy, but I still can. So it is, having to adapt and figure out. So just not even like people living in your house, but like you said, people visiting, you know, kids, grandkids, or, even like elderly parents who just can't digest certain things anymore. So it is
Right.
kind of this moving puzzle piece that it is good to be able to
It really
have,
is.
yeah, people that you can draw from and think like, okay, how can I do that? So yeah. Well, speaking of recipes, I know that you were looking to share a recipe also with listeners. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Well, yeah, I want to pick something that's super fun from the new book that's
Okay.
going to get people
Okay.
excited about um party food and figuring out
Okay.
a way to do it, without all the car. Because here's the thing: a lot of folks want
Mm,
to cut back on sugar. They know that it's not like when I first started this process, people were like, "Cut back on sugar. It's fat that makes you fat, right?" And now people are like, "Oh
oh,
no,
yes.
healthy fats, but cut back on sugar."
Yes.
Like things have shifted for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
I wonder if we do. I wonder if we do the caprese martini. Have you seen these balsamic caviar pearls? I've been making those. I think I'm going
I
to share that recipe
have
with the.
seen you make those. Yes. They look amazing.
They're so good.
I
And
have
they're
seen you make
like,
those.
okay, there
Amazing.
is a process, but it's
Mm,
actually really an easy process. So I think I'd like to share that because it's
okay.
summertime. People can put these on their caprese salads. You can put them in your martini at the bottom, like it looks like caviar at the bottom of your martini. Like if you like a
Wow.
dirty martini. Um,
Wow.
or even if you like it with a twist, it goes well. The idea being you get a nice balsamic, you get
Mm.
agar powder, which is
Oh,
a
yeah.
vegetarian gelatin basically,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you just boil it real quick, and then you take nice extra virgin olive oil, right? And I put it in a glass and you put it in the freezer for like 30 minutes just to chill it, make sure it has a chill on it. And
Okay.
you take droppers and you drop the balsamic in, and it just makes these little pearls, and it looks like caviar,
Wow.
but it's
Wow.
balsamic, and so it has that little vinegar balsamic burst in your like of tart, and
Wow.
it's so good. And so why don't we do that? Does that
Okay.
sound fun?
That sounds amazing.
Great. And you could sprinkle it on shrimp, you could put it on a salad, on chicken, on, you know what I mean? But
That sounds amazing.
obviously a caprese. always a caprese, all summer long caprese. So
yeah, perfect.
Let's do that. And then I'll do the caprese martini if they want to get real fancy.
Oh my gosh. That sounds amazing. I will put links to all of that.
Okay, great.
That sounds
amazing.
Great.
I can get you photos and Microsoft Word if you want to put it in whatever format that you want. So
okay. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Yeah. Is there a way that I can link it to? Like, do you have it on
sure. You can link
website?
To Substack too. Yeah, I can send you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's perfect.
Whatever's easier. I've just learned over the years to have if you're a food writer and you're listening, make sure you have everything in every format possible because you never know how it's going to share.
True. You never know. This is very true.
It never ends.
Well, Anna, what is the best place for people to connect with you? Like if somebody has a question for you or they just Substack. Okay. That's
Substack is great.
Place.
Instagram is great. I mean, Substack is really, it's just so nice.
Kind of your hub.
Yeah. I needed a place because, being a food blogger, just the fractured algorithm of it all that we're all dealing with now.
Yep.
And it's so frustrating. So I had everything at annavocino.com. And I chose early on to not do Mediavine or just to keep it real. And now looking back, I wish I had taken the money. I was like, I don't need it. I'm good. And now I'm like, oh, it would have been nice. Probably should have done that. No, but it's all good. So Substack came along at just the right time. I started at the end of 2021 on Substack. So I guess kind of an early adopter, but not totally early, not first, but kind of early.
Yeah, that is early.
And I said, I'm going to publish every recipe that's not in a cookbook. I'm going to publish it there. And now I like it. Now I frankly, I have enough for probably a couple more cookbooks just from Substack recipes.
Wow. Wow. Incredible. Yeah. That's great. I will put links. Yeah. I'll put links to that too so that people can go and follow you, subscribe to you, and just check out all of your delicious, delicious recipes. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thanks for letting me yammer on. I appreciate it.
Oh, I love it. I love talking to fellow food creators and just also people who are fun to talk to.
Great. Me too. Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.